All the old men crazy.
Yo, welcome into the Fantasy Sickos BS show. It is May 21st. The boys are back in town, you all, and we're ready to do a Bestball kickoff show. We got a battle royale of professional athletes, 3-round draft at the end. We are ready to rock and roll. Everybody, welcome Cassidy Hill, who I like to call Dubcast or just Dub on this show. Cassidy, what's up? Welcome back. We do have new listeners from the last time you were here. But for all that don't know, man, Cassidy is the one who kicked off our pod with us. He did our redraft last year. He'll be coming in whenever he chooses, he wants to moving forward. Cassidy, what's up? Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, what is up, guys? I'm part of the Corona Couch Coaches Fantasy Redraft League, one of the OG members there. I've been playing fantasy in all kinds of formats here with, Brian and Smitty, and I'm just psyched to talk fantasy. It's good to get the boys back together.
Yes, man. So the league Cassidy's talking about, that is the league of record, and you will hear us talk about it. It is the only MFing league we care about. Doesn't matter, and it's not Dynasty. It is redraft, baby. Smitty, what's up in sunny LA?
Dude, ever since the schedules have been released, all the rage between Rams and Lions Twitter is our week one matchup. And boy, has the discourse been spicy. Oh my God, these guys are still disrespectful. And when Matthew Stafford walks into that state or walks back into Stafford Field, they're going to once again boo him. Like that they're saying that's gonna happen. And I'm just not with it, guys. I'm just not with it. I cannot. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a homer rant, but
Are you ready to call Super or NFC Championship game week one?
Now, nobody has that take yet, so I love it. I love it, absolutely.
I don't know. I've been hyping up the Rams a little bit, which is surprising for me. I think they might got one in them for Matthew Stafford there. But Cassidy, we are here to heal your heart tonight, okay?
That's kind of true.
So Cassidy, he took like second in like 50 leagues probably, or something like that. And he had to check out for a little bit. So we are here to heal your heart, let you know that whatever happened in the past, it doesn't matter because it's on to the future and it's on to boys. So Cassidy, let's start this show and talk about some best ball strategy here. We've been talking about Dynasty now for about 3 months. We're only doing best ball tonight. But talk to me about some strategies that you're looking at this year. What worked last year, and are you changing anything this year?
Well, part of it is that because you do so many best balls, you get to change it up during the season, right? You can try a lot of different strategies. But we have enough best ball data now to really know kind of what works and what doesn't work. And so, I kind of look at it a little bit differently than what strategy I'm using. It's just all about roster construction. It's really what I'm looking at are positional advantages, positional scarcity, value over replacements, and you're looking at opportunity costs. Every time you make a pick, you kind of have to consider the opportunity cost of what choice you didn't make in that situation. And so, that kind of relates to like, if you take an early quarterback, well, you're probably going to have to, in that instance, you're only going to take probably 2 quarterbacks. And so you're going to kick your other 1C position like tight end towards the back of the draft, and you're going to have to take several of those. Vice versa, if you take that's kind of the later great strategy, taking an early tight end. But basically, man, I think it's all about stocking up on wide receivers early and often and trying to find value at running back late. That's my main strategy, and that's what I'm going to be hammering on.
Ooh, man.
The pro is back, y'all.
You're speaking to my heart, baby.
Like, this man came through with knowledge and, like, just real intention of how he plays best ball. Oh, God. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
So let's set the format for everything we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about Superflex, Start 10. Do you want to talk 1.5 tight end premium or 1.75?
I think we should kind of talk about all of that, honestly. I'm really more looking at single quarterback. Like, we're talking about our stackings, but it's all going to be relevant. But I stay away from tight end premium analysis just because I think all it does is shift everything about the tight end up a notch. But it keeps all the tight ends the same relative to each other.
Okay. So let's just do 1.5, because to me, that's no tight end premium these days.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Smitty, what are you looking at for strategy? So let's say your first best ball draft you're going to kick off. is going to be what you think is going to be your best strategy. How are you rolling?
Okay. Because of this running back class in 2024, I am really enjoying the idea of going running back in the first 2 rounds. So hero, maybe even double hero strategy is my plan, and then just from there, load up in every other position, and then maybe get 2 more. I don't know, maybe have those 2 more be backups. Even I don't know. That's just the most appealing thing to me. What what? How do y'all feel about that particular strategy? Like Bijan and Achan.
So I can't wait to do my first draft with you. We'll do them together because I am not going to be drafting running backs in the first 2 rounds of my first draft. Not going to happen. Don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be talking about HN later, but I'm glad that you brought that up, man. We're here to kind of talk strategy. We're here to get people excited to play best ball, and I'm here to tell you the numbers. It's not about how I feel about that strategy or not, man. The numbers just don't bear that out. Robust strategy,
Really?
straight robust RB strategy just does not advance at all. Hero and zero is the way to go in best ball, but that's contingent on finding the right RBs late.
Really? Oh, okay. Well,
100%. But I will tell you, man.
Here's my fear about finding RBs late. There are entirely too many, and a lot of them have shared backfields or even just straight up backups, and we don't really like it. I'm scared of that situation. I'm terrified to
Yeah.
find a late round gem. That's why I'm like, let me get the 2 big dogs and then just let y'all have at it. That's my whole thing.
All right.
So here's the
Let's
thing
draft.
about that. If you go back and look at all these best ball winners last year in leagues, dude, I talk that running backs don't stay healthy regardless, redraft, dynasty. But for best ball, it's even more important to me because finding a healthy running back week 16 and 17, man, it's just not going to be there. I want all these, and we'll get into it. I got some picks later for that. But yeah, God, you know me. I hate running backs regardless. I don't care what format it is, man. It just doesn't matter. But let's talk about the all upside approach versus the more balanced consistency approach. Cassidy, are you more of an upside guy where are you all about your spike weeks, or do you just want absolute consistency out of your players?
No, and I think that's part of best ball, man, is you really want kind of all spike. You really do. And so it's all about building a portfolio of players and, having exposure to different players as you're compiling these drafts, but just making sure that you have enough of these spike players to cover your bases week in, week out throughout the season. Because you're not going to rely on any one of these guys necessarily every single week. You just need to get the boom bust to come together as the weeks progress.
Okay, so who's the 101 for you right now?
The 101?
The
Probably
101.
Tyreek.
You got the 101. Who?
Yeah, probably Tyreek. The funny thing is, I was going to talk about that later. I kind of was going to say I'm basically not drafting any running backs in the first 2 rounds outside of Christian McCaffrey. If I have the 101, I think he's worthy of consideration there still because he's such a fucking advantage. And he's going to,
But he's
assuming he stays healthy, you're going to get his plays every week. Yeah. But that said, I'm really high on Tyreek for best ball this year.
So you're going to hear it first on this podcast, everybody, that Tua Tagovailoa, or however you pronounce his last name, I don't think I nailed it there. Tua is going to be the MVP of the NFL in 2024. Get your stacks. We'll talk about it later, but I'm calling it Tua right there. MVP. Smitty, who's your 101? Is it CMC?
I'm. Are you serious about the Tua thing? Like I can't. Okay, I can't wait to hear that.
You don't get to say that, Ryan. If you look forward in the document, you'll see that I have that stack as my chosen stack.
I know, but you boys, you got to remember who called the MVP last year. I get first dibs, baby.
All right.
Absolutely, that's right. He did
Let's
call
go.
Lamar Jackson,
All
and
right.
that was hard to believe at the time. Okay,
All
well,
right.
shoot. He's,
So before we
Bijan
get in the
Robinson.
nuts and bolts on here, let's spend some time because best ball drafters are going to be drafting your traditional 10 and 12 person teams, but they're also going to be drafting a lot of tournaments. Is there a difference of how you're going to draft, Smitty, between a tournament that's got 30, 100,000 people in it versus a 10 or a 12 team, just traditional best ball?
To be very honest with you guys, I have zero experience in tournaments because terrified. So I would love to know what's your approach? Because maybe this will be the year, right? Maybe this will be the year I give it a shot. But oh man, I'm very scared of that idea. We're all drafting like we all have Bijans. Really? Oh my god, like a bunch of us are dealing with Bijans. That's so scary to me, dude.
So the key to tournament to me is you get some core players in there, but dude, it's all about just taking chances. I mean, it's like you're not going to win a tournament drafting how you're going to do it at 10 or 12. Like you got to go get it. You got to go get a guy like Isaiah Likely. You got to go get, those backups that nobody wants on their team. The next thing you know, it's like, holy crap, that dude just went off for 10 touchdowns. Like that's the type of tournament style. Like you got to take the no risk it, no biscuit approach, the BA approach there. What do you feel about tournament best ball, Cassidy?
Yeah, that's funny. I like that take because if you think back to last year, it was like Joe Flacco and like Jerome Ford, right? Like in David Njoku. Those pieces were the ones that tipped you up over the top in week 17, right? So those weren't highly drafted players at all. But it's hard to project that. So I'd say, yeah, you want that diversification you were talking about. And in tournaments, much more than on our 10 and 12 team, home leagues that we'll be drafting. Week 16 and week 17 matchups are super duper important. So like we're going to talk about week 17 matchups coming up here. And I think that like that's a useful strategy and I'll use it as like a tiebreaker in my, home leagues. But in tournaments, you have to be looking at that. You've got to have players that are correlated week 16 and 17 or you're not going to advance.
So that is words of wisdom right there from the master. And we are going to jump into week 17 right now. Because if you're going to win a best ball league, the only week that matters is week 17 because, man, you got to look at those matchups. So I just pulled up week 17 here. Smitty, this is what you wanted to talk about the most was week 17 when I shot those the text out for the pre-call. So talk to me about your week 17 matchups and what are you looking at? Because my number one matchup I'm looking at is Arizona versus LA.
Yeah,
that's your number one? Okay, because that's my number one too. But to be honest, I think Dubcast said it perfectly. At the end of the day, if we're doing like a little 10-teamers, little 12-teamers, this is probably a tiebreaker more than anything. So let's start with okay, here's my favorite actually. Detroit versus San Francisco. That screams to me Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like if I'm deciding between Amon-Ra and I don't know who else is in the first, then this matchup right here, because they did not really improve their secondary for San Francisco. I'm kind of saying, if I'm stuck between Amon-Ra and some dude in the first, I'm going Amon-Ra, and it's kind of because of week 17. And if I go down all these matchups, there's going to be one guy screaming out of each of them, and I'll let that be the tiebreaker, just like Dubcast said. So I was so happy you said tiebreaker. That's exactly how I would use week 17.
There's another big matchup that I'm really looking at, and it is the Indianapolis Colts versus New York Giants. I want every bit to do with AR-15 because my number 2 who will come up in MVP voting is Anthony Richardson this year. With only 4 games played under his belt, there's a chance he actually might get it. New York Giants are going to suck this year, dude. They're going to suck. They're going to be horrible.
But I will say this, they did slightly improve their defense. In fact, that might be the only cool thing the Giants did outside of drafting Rome. I mean, not Rome, but Malik. Like, that defense, they got Brian Burns. That's a little scary. That's low-key scary.
What about the Los Angeles Chargers versus the New England Patriots? It seems like that could be some gold in there with the Chargers, possibly. Cassidy.
That's a sleeper game. I'm off of that one, man. I got some more stuff to talk about, but that game disgusts me.
I'm gonna agree. I agree.
You got the mic. Hit us with it, Cass.
Okay. I mean, just that one, dude, you're just getting into that Harborough, slow it down, run the ball against the Patriots, who that's their bread and butter. I don't even know where that game is. Hopefully it's not New England or something terrible like that.
It is at New England.
Dude, that game is disgusting. I'm staying so far away from that game. Here, man, here's what I'll tell you guys. So, I think for week 17, it can be easily overdone where people are too much looking at it. So, and then at the expense of their roster construction. So it's like the first thing you have to look at are, again, your positional advantages in your roster construction. So, like, if you're taking, like, 4 tight ends and 4 quarterbacks, dude, week 17 is not going to matter. You're going to lose. Like, you have to have the right ratio of wide receivers and running backs and quarterbacks, right? And we can talk about that later. But all eyes are going to be on the Lions and 49ers. All eyes are going to be on the Cowboys and the Eagles and the Cardinals and the Rams. Here's another good approach to the Week 17 thing. Look at what studs that you've drafted in the early rounds, and then find a late round dart throw that has a good Week 17 matchup that you can correlate against them, right? So, like, here's a couple really cool examples for you guys. So if you just drafted Justin Jefferson in the first round, well, they're playing the Packers. So you can take your pick of, like, Jalen Reed or Dontavian Wicks or Christian Watson, right, to correlate with Justin Jefferson. Tyreek Hill, you could pick Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper was a league winner last year in Week 17, right? That's another couple really fun ones. I really like this one. If you've got Devontae Adams, he plays the Raiders. They're going to play the Saints at home in the Dome in Week 17, and you could take a late round flyer on, like, Rashid Shaheed and hope that he goes off for, like, 120 and 2 or something like that.
Rashid Shaheed is gold in best ball.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy we're talking about. That's that boom bust. That's exactly wide receiver you want, dude. He's going in, like, I don't even know, like the 12th or 13th round or something. Like, that's a great, great player for best ball.
Yeah. So my main approach, with all jokes aside, I always talk about some, but my main approach to Week 17 is this is where I want my rookies. I want to pick the matchups for the rookies towards the end of the season.
That's
that
brilliant,
I like.
man.
And
that's when they start to shine, man.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking at that Arizona-LA game, because this is when I'm thinking if Marv's going to be hot this year, it is going to be in Arizona. And we got Puka going. Kupp hopefully is healthy. I mean, I think this just could be a 35-33 game. I mean, it could just crush. And the good news, Cassidy, you haven't been on the pod in a little bit, and I keep loving to say this, but Smitty and I are going to be at that game, and he's going to have an Arizona Cardinals jersey on.
Sick. Oh, my God, sick.
He lost the bet again.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Smitty, what are any other words of wisdom for Week 17 here?
You know what? I'm going to just piggyback off of what you said about rookies. Dude, okay, let me admit something real quick. The other day, literally yesterday, so last week when they had the little rookie meetings, everyone started wearing their uniforms, they got together, they took their pictures and all that cute stuff. But listen, when I saw Caleb Williams wearing number 18 in that Bears jersey, the first word I thought was bust. I'm not even gonna lie. And that word has not left my mind until now. Because you made such a phenomenal point about this is where the rookies should shine. I'm looking at that Thursday night game, dude. By the way, that's my birthday. I'm excited for that. But anyways,
Yeah.
dude, Caleb Williams is going to wreck the Seahawks. Oh my God, he is going to be in peak form at that point. He might even be playing for a playoff spot. Oh my God, Caleb Williams is going to be my favorite second quarterback, probably, just based off of this information. So thank you, Brian, for giving me a guy to pick.
I like it. I like it. Now, before we move on, I do want to talk about one more game, Cassie. I'm going to throw this in your court. Denver at Cincinnati. You're the local Colorado dude. You got a new quarterback, new wide receiver, and you got rid of a really crappy quarterback. Thank God. Hopefully he's going to be out of the NFL soon. But is this a game you want to target at all, Cassidy? Is this looking good on the Cincinnati side?
Well, you got to expect Cincinnati to blow Denver out of the water, right? So I've already kind of targeted. We're going to talk to him, I think, in the next segment here, but I'm pretty high on Zach Moss for where he's going. And that's a piece in that game that I think is going to be really beneficial if kind of the game strip goes the way you might expect it to.
Okay. I see on this docket, too, Baltimore-Houston. Is this a game you guys are going to fade a little bit there, or is this a game you're attacking? And I forget who put this on the dock.
Oh, I was just trying to name off the Week 17 games, but you got them right here. So, yet I don't see it here, so maybe it's not a thing. If so, then yeah, I kind of think, personally, I mean, this Week 17 is not exactly the playoffs, but just emotionally, I think CJ Stroud's probably going to want to try harder. With that being the case, I see this being a have a Tank Dell Zay stack. Can you do that? Is that a thing you could do? I feel that. Just combining y'all's advice for week 17, I think I would want a Tank Dell and Zay stack. I mean, it's not a stack, but for this matchup it is. So I think I'm gonna do that for a league. See how that goes.
Okay. The
Because
one
those two
game
might
I,
have something to prove, you know?
the one game I
Emotionally.
think I'm going to fade is the Dallas Philadelphia game. I think I'm going
Oh
to be
yeah.
fading that for some reason. It seems like high scoring, but that inter. I also, by the way, I
It'd be
don't
low,
like Week
actually.
17 interdivisional games sometimes, even though we've talked about a few of them. Those teams know each other. The second time they're going to play each other. So I think I'm going to fade that game. Any other games you're fading here, Cassidy?
Besides the Chargers, Patriots,
Yeah.
no, man. It's not like I'm looking at games I'm necessarily fading. I'm just paying attention to which games are in a dome, which games have high over unders, and which games have late round players that I think are explosive. That's kind of more the way I'm looking at it.
Whoa, potential shootout, guys. Tennessee, Jacksonville. That might be the high scoring game of the century right there. Oh my God, those two
So,
boys are really gonna shoot it out. I
so
assume.
what player are you targeting then?
Oh my, give me Kirk, give me Hopkins, give me the two quarterback. I don't know. You know what? This is like late round type stuff here. I don't know. I'm just now looking at it. I like the idea of that being a shootout.
I would attack the serial killer. BT Jr. is who I would be
Ooh,
attacking a
that's
little bit in
right.
that
Get some
matchup.
rookies. I feel that.
Ah,
I
get that
felt that.
rookies. All right, enough week 17. Let's talk about players we love, we hate, where we can draft them. Cassidy, I'm gonna give you the mic. Let's start with the loves. We'll all go around with that, and then we'll jump into some hates. So, who are you loving this year?
Yeah, man, totally. So, I was talking earlier about how important finding those gems, those late round running back gems. So, some guys that I'm targeting in these late rounds are I mentioned it before. I really like Zach Moss. His ADP right now is number 94, so he's going at that 7-8 turn. And I think getting somebody that could be a solid RB2, you know, maybe you'll have to be the RB1 for your team, or he could be. That's really good value. Um, I'm also we're going to talk about him a ton, I'm sure, with you, but trying to shoot for my quarterback in kind of the sixth round and later. I'm loving Kyler Murray in the sixth round. And then just real quick, man, I'm also loving Jalen Warren. He's going number 94, so that's another super late, I think, running back with a lot of upside potential. And finally, Rashid Shaheed. We talked about him already, but I put him on my list here. The 12-13 turn, really super solid, high upside wide receiver.
You've been listening to that news about Najee dropping some weight, coming in a training camp pretty light these days. You've been you think that's going to be a 1A 1B, or you think Warren's going to actually
Yeah.
take over that job?
Yeah, I still think that Najee's the 1A. I think it's going to play out a lot like last year, where Najee gets more carries. Jalen Warren's more explosive. Warren's got the better draft value, so that's probably where I'm going to go.
So here's my thing with Pittsburgh is, man, I hate investing in Arthur Smith. It's our thing. It's so funny that you bring him up right off the top cast, because nobody hates him more than you do. But
That's why you
I
get the
find,
RB2.
yeah, I do like that. I love Warren in there, but it's something about me is just gonna fade Pittsburgh across the board. Dynasty redraft best
Yeah.
ball. I
That's
don't know
funny
what
you
you're
said
gonna do.
that. I think Warren is like literally the only player on that team I have interest in.
I think Justin Fields would be the only one I have interest in. I don't know where his ADP is right now. I'll look that up, but I think he'll be the starter by the time the season
Yeah.
ends.
He's like
If not the
undrafted, I
beginning.
think.
Smitty, what do you think about Pittsburgh?
Yeah, very much like you off of it. Dude, I wouldn't even draft Russ at all in like a 22 type of super flex best ball. Like it's just not happening. Like I don't even know about Warren because Arthur Smith does scare me. I definitely don't. I will maybe one best ball will I have George Pickens, but it'll literally only be one share. I'm not interested in. I'm much like you, Brian. I don't want it. I don't care.
So Justin Fields is QB 26 right now in best ball. He's being drafted above Russell Wilson, above Daniel Jones, and above the little guy Bryce Young. I would much rather have him than all of those guys, and I'd much rather put him on a team above the people that's drafted in front of him and Derek Carr and Geno Smith. So that'd be my takeaway there. But Smitty, who are you in love with right now?
Dude, I okay. So like I said earlier, my first two rounds would ideally like running backs, two, two big dogs, right? Moving after that point, like in the third, fourth round, I want Allen, I want Hurts, I want Lamar, I want Patrick Mahomes. I want one of those guys because all four of them are probably going to personally compete for MVP. And if they want that, they have to try. So I want that just like I want that spark in their heart on my best ball team because that's like quite upside that's really uncalculated sometimes.
Okay.
Sorry, that was an unemotional answer, but that's yeah. I want a top quarterback.
Okay.
I like them
So
all.
Cassidy, I don't know. What do you? Let's give a rebuttal here, Cassidy, to Smitty. There. What do you think about
I
that?
just want Smitty in all my leagues. This is excellent stuff, man. I just really want to play best ball against a bunch of Smitties
Okay, so what?
who
Okay, so
drafted
who's
their
going to be your
hearts.
quarterback one then? Who's going to be your quarterback one? Because I'm letting you know now. At the worst case scenario, Patrick Mahomes is not available to you. So like, who? Okay, you said Kyler, right? Kyler, you're comfortable with Kyler being your quarterback one?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's kind of like you get these guys in the sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth rounds. You just need 4 or 5 weeks out of each one of them and hope that they come on different weeks, right? So, yeah, Kyler
Yeah.
is absolutely, I'm totally cool with that as my quarterback one. I'm also pretty high on Dak. Uh,
And then Brian said Anthony Richardson as well. Like, listen, I do like some of these later
yeah,
rounds, but I
yeah,
mean,
he, Richardson scares the shit out of me.
Don't just. I mean,
But then a couple late round guys, I guess, is where I was trying to go with that. Like you get Kyler,
oh, right.
and then you just sit on it for a while, and then like you finish off with like Goff and like you know guys like that.
So
Yeah,
my
no,
main
that's good,
strategy
Brian.
this year, I'm going to do zero QB, zero RB at the same exact time as I'm doing most of my best ball drafts. And I can tell you that the quarterback that will probably find his way on more teams than anybody else who I am in love with is Will Levis in a best ball format. I
Yeah, that's
want a
fun.
I want a combination of Matthew Stafford, Will Levis, maybe this is a Jaden Daniels one I want in there as well. Like those are three QBs that are going to find their way onto my roster, and probably if I get Will Levis, I'll piggyback them with the little guy Bryce Young. They're the type of best ball guys that I just love. It just doesn't matter, if they score, they're in your lineup. If they don't, they're just not.
Yeah,
But for my love, I put on here the B running backs. I want them all. Cassie, I don't know how much of the Dynasty pod you've been listening to, but there's been somebody that I've been hyping up a lot lately that everyone thinks I've got mud on my face, and I just might. I am targeting Dameon Pierce. I want him everywhere. This is a redraft conversation, too. I do not believe that Joe Mixon is getting more than 60% of the touches. I also don't believe he's staying healthy. And I don't think Dameon Pierce was healthy last year at all, and they had no problem getting rid of Singletary whatsoever on that team. That's the perfect type of RB that I'm targeting right there. I just want all the B running backs, and if I'm getting an RB1 on a team, I want to go after a guy like Aaron Jones. Like that just seems like a really good fit into my squad. I want your David Montgomerys of the world. Those are the RB2s I want. And I also want some of these rookie guys that are in great offenses. So Jalen Wright, that's another guy that I'm going to love. He's going to be the RB3 on the team, but he's got a running back in front of him that can't stay healthy in Buzz Lightyear. He's got a 32-year-old running back by the time the season starts in front of him. So he's going to get some touches. So he's a really good late round flyer that I think is going to fit right there. Now, do you boys, who's your favorite RB2, Smitty? Besides Blake Corum?
Oh, well, if we're talking late round, I'm feeling Benson. I'm feeling Trey Benson. I'm feeling Benson. You might actually be my favorite.
Okay. And then Cassie, you're on Jalen Warren, correct?
yeah, man. That's not necessarily my favorite RB2. Like probably if I can get somebody ahead, Zach Moss might be my favorite number two. For the record, I'm totally on the other side of that Dameon Pierce debate too. And I'm pretty high on Mixon as well. But there's guys that are going, later that I think are kind of undervalued. Guys like, David Montgomery, James Cook. Uh, those are pretty solid RB2s. Kamara.
Oof.
I do like Kamara. He's a really good. So Kendre Miller. Anything on Kendre Miller? You feeling him at all, Cassidy, this year? Because I'm not.
You know, yeah, totally. Just it's all about context, man. Late round dart throw, somebody that doesn't cost a lot with upside. Sure.
So who you hating, Cassidy?
It's funny. It's like I don't like the way you phrase that because I don't hate these players. It's just where they're going and who else I can get where these guys are being drafted. Real quick though, I just want to go back and just make my point really clear to Smitty. It's not about not liking Josh Allen more than Kyler Murray. Like I fucking love Josh Allen. It's just since we're talking about best ball, it's just roster construction is so important, man. And stud wide receivers are going to win the league for you. And if you've made the decision to go rust RB, like that's great. But now you've got to stack up on wide receivers and kick quarterback down the road. I think if you want Josh Allen, that's cool. You got to get a wide receiver probably before him. That's kind of all I'm saying, right? So it's like you just got to look at the way your team is being created and make decisions based on where the value is on the board based on the positions you have available, right? That's all I was trying to say with that. But guys that I hate, I don't hate them. I fucking love him, dude. But I'm probably not drafting any Sam Laporta, right? He's just going too early for me, and I think I can find that production later in the draft, and I don't feel comfortable passing on guys like Nico Collins or DJ Moore or Jalen Waller or DK Metcalf right there, right? That's pretty important to me. And then even earlier, dude, like gonna have to pass on guys that I love, like Bijan Robinson, because I'd rather have like JJ or Amon-Ra.
Okay, hold on. You'd rather have JJ than Bijan in the first round.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, all right.
In best ball. Now in redraft, I'm not going that way. But this is our best ball.
I'll take that. Now Amon-Ra, I actually completely understand. Amon-Ra, I might even agree, but the JJ of it all, it's just quarterback I'm not in love with. That's all.
Yeah.
Who is the quarterback? Is it Sam Darnold by chance?
Ironically, it's JJ.
No. It's JJ. Or yeah.
Oh, but you know what? Maybe if it is Sam, that could be interesting.
Yuck.
So before I ask Smitty who he hates or who he's fading, I'm going to talk about the number one player that I'm fading this year, Kyron Williams, 204. The only best ball team that I think he will end up on is the league that we do yearly now, which is the reverse thinking and draft the players you usually don't draft. Who, by the way, I will give full disclosure, I won that league last year and Cassidy took second. So just do everything we say on the opposite and you'll win some leagues. But look at the Los Angeles Rams, I think, have made a statement in their transactions. And their transactions is they continue to keep adding our RB help there. And I don't think that they want to go to just a one RB system like McVay has been doing. I just don't like that so he's RB6 in best ball right now. And I would just much rather go get David Montgomery. I would much rather go get James Conner. I would much rather go get Zamir White. I'd much rather get Raheem Mostert at that point. Like, I just can't draft him. But you got to realize, Smitty, if I'm drafting Raheem Mostert, so he's RB28. I mean, I don't have the rounds on here. But, I mean, we're talking so late that's the perfect RB for me. The dude led the NFL in touchdowns last year. What makes you – if he gets half of them where I'm going to draft him this year, sign me up. I do like Kyron Williams. I like him a lot. But I'm not drafting him anywhere where everyone's drafting him. It's just not going to happen across the board in any format. Smitty, I know you probably don't like that because you are a 204 ride or die, but I'll throw the ball in your court and then you can talk about who you hate.
Well, it seems to me like you are going for a later round value, which makes sense. With that, I can't really rebut it. But as I kicked off the pod saying, I am interested in these guys that produced pretty big last year, and Kyron 204 Williams produced pretty big last year when healthy. I'll admit that when healthy. So yeah, I mean, I'm probably not the most excited to draft him in. I'm guessing the second round, but in the third, yeah, that's an automatic to me. To me, that's an automatic because just comparable production to CMC is crazy in the third round, unless like now. But then again, all those touchdowns that Raheem Mostert got in the 12th, 15th, 18th round, I understand the
Yeah,
value.
Kyron's going in the middle of the second.
Middle of the second, okay. Okay, top of second, rich, like the turn, rich. I'll admit that's rich. Middle of the second, man. If
You
I
could
have my
go
other best
Olave
friend,
or
definitely.
London.
But third, oh well, that's actually not as scary as I thought. But if I'm being honest, the third is automatic. Third, if he's still there, which he's been nursing a foot injury. So guys, Kyron Williams been nursing a foot injury. Do not draft him in the first 2 rounds. Let him fall to
Hmm.
me. Thank you. Anyways,
Hmm.
he's been nursing a foot injury. So what I want to know the most, honestly, is what does this? Where is Blake Corn being drafted? Because that might be also too rich. That might be a guy I might consider fading just because of the hype, the system, and now this foot injury nursing news that I'm trying to announce, guys. He has a foot injury.
Dude, Blake Corum is going to be on so many of my teams, Smitty. He is
See
RB.
that? See
Definitely.
that? That's the type of person that's gonna push his ADP up, and that is scary.
Dude, he is RB 39. Jerome Ford is RB 40. Gus
Hmm.
Edwards, who is a perfect RB on a squad that I'm going to build, is 38.
Yeah.
Then let's see, coming to Tajay. I don't want Tajay Spears
But
this
you know
year,
what? This is actually much lower than I thought.
dude. It's
Oh,
low,
this
man.
this is doable actually. Oh,
But this is my point of why I don't want 204 is because Corum's down here so far because he's up there so far. People think he's going to get 80% of the workload. And let's be honest, if there's a goal line back on this team, it probably is going to be Blake Corum by the time the season ends. This dude is a monster at the goal line when he played for Michigan, dude.
let me ask,
Monster.
let me ask you guys something. I've been slightly prepared for this. Are any of y'all watching NBA or WNBA right now? Are any of you guys
No.
watching the Caitlin Clark experience? So
I watched
Caitlin
it
Clark,
last night.
Caitlin Clark last year was a phenomenal college women's basketball player. She's phenomenal. She shoots from anywhere. She can shoot from this level. She shoots from half court. She makes it right. Phenomenal player. She's now in the WNBA, Indiana Fever, I believe, and first off, her team has yet to win, and that's like 3 or 4 games. And she's kind of been scripted out because the team actually no, she, all the stuff she's doing, she did in college is not translating like low key at all. Maybe one game it kind of caught up, and so I look at Caitlyn and I say, okay, dang, this is so crazy because you were such a phenom. Why is this not translating? And then I look at Quorum, who was hyper productive for the team that won the national, the Natty. So I'm just kind of envisioning the same thing. So I'm not saying Blake is Caitlyn and Caitlyn is Blake, but I just don't see Blake being the RB3 of the class. I mean, I know this is not a dynasty talk. I just don't see him being I see him being very much a backup like the rest of his classmates.
I think any RB can actually be productive in today's NFL because it's all systems and zone defenses now, dude. That's why I'm fading RBs. I don't care about the RB ones for it. I'll build some squads where I do that. But Smitty, I do have one question. You want Kyron Williams to fall to the third round? If you draft a running
Absolutely,
back in the first two
absolutely.
rounds, but
What
hold
a
on.
steal, in my opinion.
If you draft a running back in the first 2 rounds and he's there, are you going to
Oh
draft
my
him?
God! Then I won't draft another because that's 3 right there. Oh my! I mean, I might do somebody's backup. I don't know, but like around 50. But yeah, that'd be ooh. But
All
then
right,
again, it's like
Cassidy,
my
collusion
name's
time, baby. Every league
Yeah.
we play in, we're going to let Smitty, we're going to drop 204 to the third round so he drops 3 RBs and we're going to smoke
Yeah.
this fool.
I'm actually gonna
I'm
cry if you let me do that because that'll be
I'm in on it.
fantastic. Oh my God! Wait, y'all? Okay, really? Y'all have no desire for Kyron Williams in the third?
I don't
No
have a
desire.
I don't have a desire for a running back in the first 10 rounds. I will tell you that by round 10 is where I'm going to start slamming running backs and tight ends on my team. I don't care. It's going to be mostly wide receivers and QBs at that point.
Okay. All right. Okay. I mean, look, I have no idea. I mean, you guys have played tournaments. You guys have won a lot of best ball leagues. So I'm really this is just me, making assumptions. Interesting strategy.
Yeah.
Very interesting strategy.
That round number for starting on running backs is 6 for me. That's where the data actually lies. So taking your first running back after round 6 seems to be correlated with high advance rates.
If Kyron
But just to
falls
be,
to the 6th, will you draft him?
if what?
If Kyron Williams falls to the 6th round because of the foot injury, he can't even walk, guys.
Well, of course, man. I mean, here's the thing. I love Kyron Williams, dude, and I want him in redraft. I'm fading him in best ball, and that's just because of his ADP, and it's as simple as that.
So Cassidy, I didn't listen to you once.
Discussion.
I didn't listen to you once, and I lost a championship because I didn't. Don't not listen to me, man. Fade 204. Do not draft him in redraft. I'm telling you, just leave him for Smitty because Smitty and I's jersey bet this year is we're head to head in Triple C. So loser between our records loses the jersey bet. Let him draft 204. All right, so here's some players that we've got targeting fading on here. I've got Smitty. I got Luke Musgrave in round 15, Travis Kelce round 3, WTF. Talk to me about those two.
Oh yeah, so Luke Musgraves, guys. The perfect tight end because he's in a fantastic situation. He's in a fantastic offense, so it seems. He was in it last year. So to get a guy like Musgraves in round 15 is like getting the tight end. I don't know, 6, 7, 8th of the whole league in round 15, and I love that. I love that value. I mean, because like we mentioned, if I'm doing all this top heavy running back stuff and quarterback stuff, then I'm absolutely freaking fading these tight ends. So yeah, I like Musgrave's value. So if I can get him in round 15, I'll even reach to round 12, 10 if possible. I don't know, but that's a guy that's a late tight end favorite. Now on the reverse of this, Kelce in round 3 is much like what Cassie said with Laporte in round 2. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
In best ball, yeah, I think it is. And I've said this a lot. Luke Musgraves just seems a lot like exactly where Trey McBride was this time last year, where no one really want. Dude, go look at where you drafted Trey McBride last year. It wasn't the hype that he has now, and really, he didn't even have a good first part of the season because he didn't have a quarterback. But I'm in love. You give me Luke Musgrave in around 15, I'm going to feel really friggin' good about that. Cassie, anything to say on Musgraves, Kelce? And then let's talk about you targeting James Conner and Mostert and fading Devon Achane.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I agree with everything you guys said. Kelce being a little bit too high of an opportunity cost in the 3rd round. I think Musgrave is a really good later round shot for sure. Yeah, man. So kind of the theme of our Best Ball podcast so far, even though I'm glad that there's a little bit of contention on this and we're getting some pushback, but late round running backs. If you remember last year, dude, in all our drafts, I was taking Connor everywhere in the 8th round. Every time he got to me in the 8th, I was just hammering on him. And people thought I was crazy, but he was a league winner for sure. This year, he's still pick number 75. You can get him in the 6th round. That's an excellent RB1 for me. And then I wrote him down here. You brought him up already, but dude, Mostert, you can get him at the 6-7 turn. So he's pick number 83 on average. And like you said, dude, I mean, the RB2 last year, most touchdowns in the league. That's crazy value, dude. A-Chain's not going to get everything. He could get hurt. Mostert's not going anywhere, dude. They paid him. They're going to use him. I think he's just ideal. And I guess if I'm taking Mostert in the 6th or 7th round, that just means I'm probably fading A-Chain. And it's funny because we talk about these boom bust players, and he fits that paradigm for sure. I mean, in a vacuum, A-Chain is the kind of guy you want in best ball, but he's going in the 2nd round, man. And it's like you're passing on like Drake London and like Nico Collins and like Deebo Samuel to take this guy who is really volatile. And so, yeah, it hurts my heart to say this. And again, this is not a redraft take, but I'm probably fading A-Chain in best ball this year.
Yeah, I think that's smart. 2nd round running back that can't stay healthy. He proved it. I do think that that's a target possibly in redraft, depending on where that's going to be coming up. But
Yeah.
I'm down with all those fades. And James Conner, I've been talking a lot about all off season. I went out and got him everywhere in my dynasties for win now teams. He's not going anywhere. I don't think people realize how fucking good this Arizona offense is going to be. I don't think people realize, and this is a target that I don't have on this page, but people need to go get Michael Wilson on their team. He is going to be a very doable RB2 on it, not on your squad, but for RB2 for the Cardinals. We've got Trey McBride and we have Marv that are going to command defenses to pay attention to. We're going to have a good running game. We have a running quarterback. That's going to leave him wide open. I think that's a great target right there. But I am in love with James Conner this year. And guess what? If he doesn't stay healthy, fuck it. That's what round 12 to whatever running backs are for, to back that one up.
Yeah, you know what? And on that note, I actually really like Trey Benson too, man. I think I'm going to have exposure to a little bit of both. And I think Trey Benson, he's the 100th overall pick or so. And I think he's a perfectly suitable late round target as well.
So, Cassie, are you the type of guy in a best ball squad that if you draft someone like Connor, you absolutely want to have the handcuff? Because I tend to, I don't draft a lot of RB1, so I have the handcuffs regardless. But I don't think I'm always down to draft the handcuff if I've got the RB1.
No, I almost never do that, man. You gotta draft as though you're right about your picks. This isn't about being safety. This isn't about coming in the middle of the pack. You're trying to win, and so in order to win, your picks have to be the right picks. And so assuming that your running back that you pick stays healthy, you're taking Trey Benson hoping that somebody else took Connor and then Connor got hurt, basically.
Okay.
Hey, that's news for me because I am definitely a handcuff guy. I do value that. And honestly, I do think Kyron needs a handcuff in best ball situations. But, hey, I like that. Just, if you pick Kyron, you got to make sure, or you have to assume he's going to get it and then just get Benson or
just assume you're right about your picks. Make the decision and then assume you're right.
I love that. Thank you, dude. This pod rocks, yo. This pod rocks.
So I want to talk a little bit about. Hold on one second. I got to pull Best Ball. It just dropped a Best Ball ADP Fantasy Pros. So I'm going to talk about who I'm fading a little bit here. I'm fading CD Lamb. I'm really fading him.
You're insane.
Dude,
you're insane.
I'm not insane, man.
Yeah.
I'm not insane.
I think he's in the 101 conversation.
Well, he is.
I don't, dude. I don't. Because that's where you got to draft him, dude. Tyreek Hill is going to do something that I talked about all last year that he just didn't do because he got hurt. He's going for 3,000 yards this year.
Oh.
He's going to do it. I'm not drafting CeeDee Lamb as the wide receiver one. I'd much rather have Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson. And honestly, I'm in the Puka category and a Sun God, so I just can't draft him as a first wide receiver, which means he will not be on my team. If I could draft him as a wide receiver 3, 4, I'm in on him.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ.
I'm not in on him as wide receiver 1, dude. I don't know. I don't feel it. But I also hate the Dallas Cowboys. I always fade the Dallas Cowboys. So I don't know, man. I'm fading him a little bit, but the guy I'm targeting, we've talked about a little bit here, is Will Levis. I just think he's the perfect quarterback. Who's the goal line back there? It very well just might be Will Levis.
Right. 2 satellite backs. What can you do with that? Honestly, I love it.
Yeah, so I'll have mud on my face, but I'm willing to do a water bet right now, right here, that CeeDee Lamb does not finish as a wide receiver 1 next year. Would anybody like
does not? Yeah, 100%.
Does not finish as a wide receiver 1.
Yeah, dude. I'll take that all day.
Okay. Are you in?
Now, are you saying like a top 12 receiver?
No, I'm talking about wide receiver 1 of
Oh,
fantasy
the
football.
one. Oh, yeah, hell.
You're saying the one?
The one, because that's where you have to draft him. If
I thought you said
drafting
A1. Yeah,
That's what
Oh,
I
God, no.
But
He's the top 12 wide receiver. Are you kidding me? He's going to finish wide receiver 3, 4, 5.
that's all you're taking him as, man. You're not. That's fine. You're taking him at like 2, 3, 4, and you want him to finish in the top 5, and I think it's all there.
Yeah, but Cassie, you're also proving my point because you did say your 101 was Tyreek Hill, which means that's why I'm fading CeeDee Lamb a little bit. Because if I don't know. But
Yeah, man, but if you're drafting like 3rd or 4th and Tyreek is off the board, you're telling me that you're going to take Chase or I guess JJ over Lamb, and I probably wouldn't do that.
I am. Yeah, so in my order of how I'd rank my wide receivers in best ball is Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Sun God, CeeDee Lamb.
Okay.
I fully agree with that, actually.
Yeah. The only
Yeah.
problem about Sun God is you're not going to get the spike weeks the way that you will with
With
CeeDee
CeeDee
Lamb.
Lamb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the only thing about where I teeter-totter
I
that
think you just
one.
dismantled your argument for me,
I
so that's
did,
cool.
dude. I did.
No,
All
no,
right,
no.
so
You're gonna get a
wide
steady
receiver
Eddie, and
4.
steady Eddies are fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I can get him at wide receiver 4, I'm drafting him, but I doubt he'll
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah.
All
Probably
right.
not, but maybe.
Let's talk favorite stacks. We're at 50 minutes, boys. So,
All
favorite
right.
stacks. I'm going to just start with mine right now, and I changed the entire docket as we were talking about because I didn't want you boys to see this. Jordan Love and who I like to call the new sun god in Jalen Reed is my favorite stack of the year, and I'm pivoting off of who I actually think will probably be a really good stack is Kyler Murray and Trey McBride. But I think this is the absolute level the fuck up year for Jalen Reed.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Love it.
I've been nicknaming him the new sun god all offseason. And where you can get him is why I like the stack. Cassidy, you always call me out when I'm talking out of my you-know-what, so let's hear it.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I actually really dig that. You kind of caught me off guard because you went full stack, like the bring it back stack, right? Mm-hmm. So, my favorite stack, I think this is such an easy, like super stack to get, is it's only easy if you're drafting in the top, basically 3. But if you can get Tyreek because you're number 1, and it's okay even if you can't, because you can get Waddle in the 4th round, and then you just wait on quarterback, man. And you're getting Tua Tagovailoa all the way out in the 9th round, as your QB1. And that's a super solid stack now. They play the Browns week 17. That doesn't seem like the prettiest matchup, but it could be a high-scoring affair. You can throw Amari Cooper on your team, and I'm digging that for the bring back. Yeah. But since you threw that curveball at me, I've got one more that is pretty interesting. And it's if you take Devontae Adams early in the 2nd round, you can very much later take Rashid Shaheed like we're talking about. And I know this is gross. You're going to hate this. But Derek Carr is like free, dude. He's going like almost undrafted. You can pick him up like in the last round to stack with Rashid Shaheed and hope that that game goes off.
I have no problem with Derek Carr in best ball. What I
Yeah.
do have a problem with Derek Carr in any other format because when you
Yeah.
think he's going to do well, he doesn't, and when you don't, he does. He's the
Yeah.
perfect QB2.
Yeah, he
in
really is,
best
like we
ball.
talked about, man, because it's all about price and like, opportunity cost. And he doesn't cost you anything. He's fucking free. And you just need him to get like 4 or 5 spike weeks, and he will do that.
So if we're talking price, I do believe, look, we just talked about Tyreek Hill. Yeah, I think he's going to be the wide receiver 1 of the year. But Jalen Waddle to a stack is very, very I
It's
really
super
like the
doable.
way that looks.
Yeah.
Because Waddle is very cheap right now. He just had a really shitty year. He's been a top 8 wide receiver in football, and he's a target monster. And that offense, believe it or not, got faster with Jalen Wright in it. So I love where you're on it. I think Tua has a very good chance at just having a people forget Tua threw for more yards than anybody else in the NFL last year. People
I
forget
sure
that.
did. I sure
He
did
did.
forget. Wow.
All right, Smitty, so who you got on your favorite stack? Because I like this one, but it's pricey.
Yeah, I have 2 different ones. I have a pricey one and a cheap one. Listen, as we discussed, maybe the best idea isn't getting a top dog like Hurts, but if you do end up with Hurts, which I am very excited to pull off, if I get Hurts, then it will be sick to stack him with A.J. Brown. But if you miss out on A.J. Brown in like the end of the 1st, early 2nd, or maybe even get Hurts in the 2nd. Listen. You could just stack him with Hurts. You can stack Hurts with Devonta Smith the next round, or if you miss out on Smith, maybe you can get Jesus, sorry, I'm blanking on the running back. Who's the running back? Saquon. All I'm saying is I feel great about the Eagles, but this, like I said, it is a 1, 2, 3, hopefully, but not likely 4-round thing. So if you're doing this, you have to commit to the Eagles kicking butt. And if that's too rich for your blood, which I totally get, then pair Stafford, who's probably going very late, with Cup, which, you could miss out on Cup, but he's going like round 4 later. And if you miss out on Cup, just get DeMarcus Robinson. This is as dirt cheap as it gets. And honestly, yes, this is me saying you do not need Puka Nakua. But if you do want to do the Puka and Stafford stack, sick. But if we're paying up for a guy, I'd rather just do that Eagles stack. So that's what I'm saying. The Eagles are the Rams.
So I think out of everything we've been talking about, I really do like this Stafford Cup conversation here because I do believe Matthew Stafford is probably going to be in top 5 in MVP voting this year. I think there's a chance he throws for more than 35 touchdowns this year. And for me, look, this is best ball, so we're all taking chances here. Let's take a chance on Cooper Kupp being healthy all year. And you're drafting him right now at wide receiver 18, and Puka Nakua is being drafted as wide receiver 6. So for me, the price, you give me Kupp, you give me Stafford on a team, I'm going to feel really friggin' good. And it attacks that Arizona game in Week 17 that I love the most. But the Hurts and all the Eagles, they play Dallas in Week 17.
That's right.
Yeah, so Cassidy, before we get to our draft here, we're 55 minutes. What are you thinking on Kupp, Stafford, and Hurts and the Eagles?
Yeah, I'm super hip on all that. And both, what I really like about those takes is there's really easy bringbacks for Week 17. Like you were talking about Michael Wilson, if you've got that Stafford stack. If you get Hurts and you luck out with Smith, you've got really great late comeback opportunity with Brandon Cooks.
Woo!
So
there's a hot take.
Yeah,
I love that one.
Late round dart throw that's correlated to your stud, right? So it fits the bill. So I'm super hip on those stacks, man.
This is how hip
I
I'm
would
not,
suggest
Cassidy.
the Stafford one just because it's so much easier to get, and you could do it like towards the absolute end of your draft.
Cassidy, this is how bad I am right now. I don't even know where Brandon Cooks plays, and I know just about every single offensive athlete in the entire game. Where's he playing?
Yeah, he's still on the Cowboys, isn't he? Yeah, he's going to be their number 2, I think.
We all didn't know that.
I heard some chatter on some articles today that Jalen Tolbert's going to level up. I don't believe it, but I
we'll
heard
see.
a little bit. All right, anything else you boys want to talk about with best ball before we get to something we haven't done in so long and I've been waiting for, and I'm not even that prepared, but we're going to do it. We're going to draft. Anything else you want to talk about, Smitty?
No, this was fun. I learned a lot personally, so thank you guys.
Welcome, brother. Cassidy, any last words to the listeners?
Yeah, totally. I mean, this episode is all about why should we be excited for best ball? And I just think some of the best parts about playing this game together is we get to see how ADP changes over time, right? Mm-hmm. So it's you get to see the changes and the rises and the falls of these players, and it's just going to keep you more tuned in for draft season because you're going to have a better idea of the value of these players. And I also really like having exposure to a wider portfolio of players. It's really great to have. You're not going to have all these guys in your redraft, but players that you're high on, that you're scared to draft in your main leagues, take some dart throws in best ball, put them on your teams, and you get to root for them all year.
And I'll close this out before we draft. I hope people that play in leagues with me are not listening, but if you are, please write this down. Please do not forget this, that Isaiah Likely is going to be a top 5 tight end in fantasy football next year. And I do think that you should have him on just about every team you possibly can get his hands on because Mark Andrews is not the guy any longer. Let's get to drafting, baby. Here's what we're drafting. We're having a battle royale, fight to the death. We are drafting professional athletes, not in the WWE, UFC, or boxing, so not fighters. Actual athletes, NBA, NBL, NHL, NFL, all that good stuff, rugby, whatever you want to do at that point. So let's draft 3 rounds. Cass, you haven't been on the show for a while. You got the 101. Start it off, brother.
All right. What's interesting about this draft, and I think is what makes it really fun, is how many different directions you can go. And at the 101, that means I have no idea who you guys are thinking. But I've got somebody who I'm going to go ahead and take him at the 101 because I don't think he's coming back to me. And I've got guys later on my list that I'm pretty sure will come back. So at the 101, I'm going to go LeBron James, man. This guy is a superhuman animal. 6'9", 250, all muscle, and he can rip your face off with his hands. So I want a brawler in my corner, and that guy is going to be LeBron.
You know I love it. You know I love it.
He was not on my list, but I'm thinking he should have been. Smitty, 102.
Yeah,
What you got?
He wasn't on mine either, but you know what?
Damn, I could have waited on him. That's cool. I still want him as my 101.
I'm gonna go Barry Bonds. This man knows his way around a baseball bat. You guys. I mean, blunt force objects. He's gonna knock the. Barry Bonds, go. Barry Bonds.
Wait a minute. Is he allowed to bring a baseball bat to
No,
the...
he does not bring a bat. I guess he can pick up a stick though.
Just as dangerous. Just as dangerous.
And are we talking pre-steroid Barry Bonds with the Pittsburgh Pirates, or are we talking full-blown San Francisco?
You know what's funny is I said at their peak, so that's roided out Bonds, right?
Roided out 72 home runs?
Yeah.
All right.
But that means that Smitty gets an asterisk. That means that Smitty gets an asterisk if he wins the draft, though.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's a good. Oh man, I missed this.
All right. So the 103. I know this guy listens to our podcast, so I apologize, but I am going to take a man that has actually killed another man and gotten away with it. I'm taking Ray Lewis at the 103 because that man is terrifying. Because you know what? When we enter the ring for the Battle Royale and he does his woo to enter it, my team is ready to go. So I'm drafting Ray Lewis at the 103. I'm going to stick to the football realm, and I'm drafting Pat Tillman at the 201. And here's why. Pat Tillman was literally a special forces Army guy. This dude also has killed people in battle. He's not afraid of nobody. You give me those two, dude, one's that murdered a guy, one that killed him legally, I'm in to start this. And by the way, Pat Tillman, rest in peace. You're my favorite individual in this entire world. I love you. I've actually done that Pat Tillman race 5 times. I love that man, so I am joking about you, Pat Tillman. R.I.P., brother, but you are my 201. Smitty, you got the 202.
Dude, you took an approach that I didn't think anyone else would, which is
that was so smart. I think that's brilliant.
So
I try.
I'm juggling between two people, and I think I'm gonna go with the guy who has voluntary manslaughter under his belt, and that's Suge Knight. Now, is Suge Knight an athlete? Well, in 1987,
no, he is not.
He was on the Rams practice squad.
Oh my god, dude!
Voluntary manslaughter.
He's a record producer here. Oh my god, a loophole.
Yeah, I had to make. That's what took so long earlier. I had to figure out.
Did he ever sign a contract with any professional sports teams?
No,
he did not.
At the squad on the Rams in '87. Okay. That was it.
We're giving it to you, Smitty. We're giving it to you.
I'm going to give it to you for creativity. That's fucking hilarious.
Look, I can replace the pick, but I'm thankful for the homer pick though.
Oh my god!
All right, Cassie, 203.
203. I'm going Bo Jackson, one of the greatest all-around athletes. 6'1", 230. He's going to run circles around the rest of the field. He's going to be resourceful. It doesn't matter what different kinds of objects are laying around the arena. He's going to be able to make the use of them. Yeah. And then I've got 2 brawlers. I've got LeBron James and Bo Jackson coming at you with fist swinging. So I need to make sure that they're protected. I don't want you guys getting to my guys. So I'm going to take Anthony Muniz, the greatest offensive lineman of all time. 6'6", 280, playmaker beast. Nobody's going to be able to touch my 2 offensive men.
I love that pick. Wow.
So when you sent out this our battle royale, Bo Jackson was my 101. That was my first friggin' thought. And I was going to draft him over Tillman, but I had to go special forces. Bo Jackson
got clever.
Go watch the ESPN 30-30 on him when he was around before we had social media, and the myth of what Bo Jackson was doing was crazy. I love your draft. Smitty, bring it home with your third.
All right, I'm going running back for USC, the Bills, and some other team I completely forgot. And that's O.J. Simpson, man. He has killer mentality.
Yes, dude. He's on my list. Somebody who's actually murdered.
He was my third. I was going to have a team of nothing but murderers.
Yeah. You totally just stole his draft.
Oh, you stole my whole draft.
I'm so happy about that.
It's fine. Aaron Hernandez is still on the board.
R.I.P. man.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, but I'm not taking Aaron Hernandez. You know what?
You
I
should.
didn't think
Let
about
us
that
say
either.
this is a recent thing in the world. R.I.P. OJ, but you did kill them. You 100% killed them. You are
Yeah, we all know
guilty as
that.
hell.
But the glove didn't fit, guys. It didn't fit.
Yeah.
Must have
Look
quit,
at that
baby.
BS attempt he did.
Yeah.
All right, so for the
It's crazy.
third, all right, I'm going to go over some people on my list that I'm not going to take that were on here. Now, let me ask you this. Does the Canadian Football League count as a professional sport?
Oh my God, yes.
Probably. I had some Canadian hockey guys, so I guess you can take their
Boom.
football.
Okay, so here are some people I had on here. I had Shaquille O'Neal, but he's too slow for what I
Yeah.
want
On
to
my
do.
list as well.
I had Ron Artest because anybody that's going to go into the damn stadium and just go after people is my type of fighter. I also had Dick Butkus in here, Mean Joe
Yeah.
Green, Lawrence Taylor.
Dude,
I had
wow.
Zion in here for the same reason that you had your LeBron James. But who
Yeah.
I'm really going to go over is someone who played for the Miami Hurricanes, and he also did play in the Canadian Football League. The Rock is going to finish my squad, and I'm going with The Rock, baby, because I swear to
Nice.
God, you get me in a battle royale. I'm talking about like Fast and Furious, like whatever, like 10, when he was just like way too superhero, dude. I'm going The Rock as my third. If you're giving me Canadian football, if not, I'll pick somebody else.
Well, we gave Smitty quite the loophole, so I guess we'll give it to you as well.
All
But you
right,
guys
so
both have
listeners.
asterisks on your teams.
All right. You know what? I don't want to win that way. I don't want to win with an asterisk. I really don't. So you know what? I'm going to go with Mean Joe Green then. Mean
All
Joe
right.
Green
I'm down with
is
it.
legitimately mean as shit, dude. Back in a day where you could probably kill someone on a football field, you didn't even know when they'd bring in somebody else. So I'll go with Mean Joe Green as my next one over The Rock. Although it is what it is. All right, so here's the draft. We're getting out of here, boys. We've got Cassidy. We got LeBron James, Bo Nixon, and who was your
Bo
offensive
Jackson.
lineman? Oh,
Anthony
yeah,
Muniz.
Bo Jackson. And who was your offensive lineman? It was
Anthony
Anthony
Muniz.
Anthony Muniz.
Yeah.
Smitty's got Barry Bonds, Suge Knight, and O.J. Simpson.
Yes.
Dude, that's a gangster team, bro.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
Dude, that's gangster, dude. And then I brought home with Ray Lewis, Pat Tillman, and Mean Joe Green / The Rock. So hope you all enjoyed. Any last words before we end this?
I just have to say, Tanya Harding would have been my fourth man.
That's awesome.
Dude, I just watched the movie I, Tanya last night, man. That
It's
chick
actually
was
really
hard,
great.
dude.
I love
Oh
that
man,
movie.
she took out Nancy, dude, like no other. All right, guys, thanks for listening. By the way, this is the Sickos BS show. Anytime Cassidy join us, his community's the Sickos, ours is the BS. That's why we do it. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you all when we catch you next time. Good luck in best ball season, everybody.
Peace.
Oh man.